What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube video here, to my first crypto video in English, actually. It's a premiere, kind of. So, really excited for that. It was a highly requested video. I definitely want to use YouTube in general, not just for crypto content, but in general to just spread the word and speak more here on YouTube. It's definitely fun for me. So give me feedback in the comment if you like this video and if I should do more of it. So obviously then I'm even more motivated. And by the way, I just arrived in Costa Rica. So I don't have my setup, obviously. I hope the quality is still fine. But yeah, let's jump into the charts. Um, let's actually see if we can bring my screen share up here. It's a little bit lagging. Hope that this is not happening on the video itself. But currently, Bitcoin is really testing our patience. We're currently trading at 100,500. We already dipped a little bit under the 100,000 again. Fear and Greed Index is one of the indexes I do really like to take a look on because in the past it really gave us good buying opportunities. Obviously, I'm not just taking a decision based on that. Let me actually also put my camera on here. I'm going to do this video most likely uncut. But what you guys can see here, every time we came into this red area, which basically means we are in a highly feared market sentiment, right? Means a lot of people are scared. They're not really sure what to do. They are potentially even selling in drawdown. That is even you can even see that on the blockchain actually as well. That especially short-term holders are selling very very quick. But what you guys can see here is every time we came into these red areas, we saw a local bottom in Bitcoin before we jumped into newer highs, newer even all-time highs. As you can see here, the gray chart is the Bitcoin price, and obviously the colored chart is the Fear and Greed Index. So you can see here, basically, here was a bottom area. We bottomed then again. So here was kind of a double bottom, you can say. We went a little bit slightly down, but then we saw a very, very nice trend to the upside. But overall, every time we come into this area, or in these areas, it's a very good buying opportunity. Obviously, also when we have like you know, orange areas usually are also very, very interesting for buys. We had it here, for example, here you see that we have kind of like a consolidation trend here, obviously, and then we always went to the upside, and it's pretty much looking very similar to this pattern here in my eyes. We had a lower low kind of in the Fear and Greed Index. So this can definitely be, or is definitely right now, an extreme fear and a max pain scenario that we see in Bitcoin. But I'm still bullish, but I'm not bullish forever. There are some points where I also have to admit, if specific things happen, I would definitely look out for lower prices, even after this week potentially. But for now, this didn't really happen. Let's actually take a look on one thing first before we go onto the chart and still liquidation heat map. By the way, I did a video yesterday already, so um, I was just in on the airport, and yeah, it was not the best quality, so I decided to do the video now. Um, let's see if this loads here. There we go. Because what I do see in Bitcoin is that we see most of the liquidation levels are over us. I don't know why it's not. There we go. So as we can see, we cleared a lot of liquidations for longs. That means, if you're not aware of it, basically where traders with leverage have their liquidation price. So let's say they put $1,000 in, or even more high leveraged positions, even like 10,000, 100,000 millions, um, they are getting liquidated there. So basically the money is gone, right? We can see here we had 186, 230, like a lot of interesting levels. We can actually also see how many liquidations we had in the past 24 hours on Bitcoin, and obviously on the overall market. We can also load this in the background. But what do we see here on the 3-day chart is that specifically at 104,600, up to 105,000. Short term, we see a lot of short liquidation levels. So we did definitely have a lot of sellers coming into this market and trying to sell Bitcoin here, which usually ends up by these people are getting liquidated. So short term, this one here is a very, very potent, like a very interesting zone for me to go for buys. I am currently in a buy. I just opened a buy this morning. Yesterday I got stopped out break even from my position from before, which already had over 3,000 pips in profit. But we're gonna go over it. So overall, obviously, it really looks not that bad for Bitcoin actually. We will take a look on the chart as well, but what we can see here, unfortunately, my internet is not working that good, but we can see here that in the last 24 hours, it's not that much, but we had 288 million dollars of liquidations in Bitcoin, and you can see that the ratio is 80 to 20. So we had 80% long liquidations and 20% short liquidations. So I do think that the longs are. I also see on the blockchain that not really much people are longing Bitcoin right now, which is a little bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. I have the feeling that a lot of people are like basically capitalizing right now. They don't really believe anymore. So we do need a push so the people coming into the market again. So, but as I said, we will take a look on that. One more thing that I wanted to speak about before we go on the chart is actually the long-term holder and short-term holder profitability. And here we see very, very good that the short-term holders are definitely underwater. You can see it here. LTH is long-term holder, STH is short-term holder, and basically a short-term holder is defined by holding Bitcoin under 6 months, right? And we can see that the short-term holder are currently on average minus 10% down. Let me actually put my Bluetooth off here. There you go. I hope everything works here with the microphone. Yeah, it does. Great. Sorry if you got ping in your head right now. Actually, let me do this quick. As I said, I'm gonna um, do it uncut so you guys see me completely talking freely. I'm not going to cut this. But what I wanted to say is we do see the short-term holders being in drawdown. That means we have a max pain scenario. Short-term holders are um, in losses right now, in obviously unrealized losses right now. And new money that flows in is also in loss. What that means is usually, and that's why I will also tell you why I think these short-term scenarios around 104 and 105,000 around this area is very, very interesting to take profits. So again, this is also very, very interesting. Old money is still in very, very good profit. Long-term holder over 6 months, they're currently having 54% profit on average. So yeah, again, this is very interesting here, right? Anyways, let's take a look on the chart, what we can do now in Bitcoin or what I am doing right now to give you a perspective and that the video is not taking too long. Again, you can give me feedback. I can go more on macros, fundamentals, chart analysis and everything like that. But I don't really know how many people are beginners or not. So yeah, basically what we have right now, we are in a daily range and we are still in the daily range and we are holding the daily range as of right now pretty strong. We do have in the MACD, so in the momentum chart, we do have this small red low that I have marked out um, as my trading range until the last all-time high, obviously. So what you can see is the following. We have created a new high, obviously, 126,159 is at least on this chart here, the new all-time high. Let me actually go here, so I will show you double, like two charts here. There we go. So I'm going to show you after the other chart, but it's the same thing. So we have created a very, very nice, trend to the upside, obviously, before. I used the opportunity before to snipe into my golden ratio. 61.8 is the golden ratio, down to the 71. It's basically my first entry zone that I'm taking on the higher time frame here, and that was already a pretty nice move. We had a full take profit within the swing. As you can see, we basically use three targets in my strategy that I learned from my mentors. Basically, the Fibonacci retracement that we obviously use to determine our entry zones, we are also using to take profits. So we just use it the different way around. So 38 point, like basically you put the Fibonacci retracement to the top and to the low, so where you entered, right? Which is here. And then we had obviously partial levels here. That makes you see here. All right, perfect. So we had partial levels here, like entry wise, it was at 108,000 area. I also shared this actually transparently on my Instagram as well. 113,961 was the first target, 117,976 was the second. We actually had here was, I think we didn't hit it right away, so we got a re-entry in this area here, and then we hit it with this move up. We were not taking out break even. And then the 88.6 in the Fibonacci retracement was the final target within the swing. I would have also holded it actually a little bit higher, but then obviously I got stopped out with the rest of the position. I think it was like 5 or 10% of my position that was still open, right? So what happened now is basically nothing crazy. We were still having these areas here, 78.6 to the 88.6, which is for me the trend reversal zone. I do want to have a reaction from this zone. Um, if like in this trading range in general, if we do go down to the 107.2 Fibonacci retracement level, so in this case the 96,185, if we close a daily candle below that, I would definitely be bearish, right? So I don't want to have a close under the 96,185. So obviously, I took a trade. I took a trade on the 88.6. I got stopped out break even. I'm gonna show you that, but we are still intact. We are still in my basically a little bit under my entry zone, but I'm gonna show you my lower time frame entry that I use right now. So back here, actually, let's go quickly. Wait. One more thing that I wanted to say is even on, of course, the people that are more into crypto know, 10th of October, it was definitely not a nice day for crypto. Bitcoin and the altcoins went a lot down due to manipulation. But even here, you see this dip to the downside exactly went to our 78.6, a little bit more down. I think we had like 102,000. So within this area, we had great opportunities to potentially buy Bitcoin if, of course, your order went through. I didn't have any order there, so my order didn't go through, but I personally traded the retest of this area here, in this case, this one. So I tried this trade. Let me actually see. There we go. So I tried this trade here. I actually took profits on the 38.2 because the price action was not the greatest for me. It's not in the chart anymore. Took a great profit there. But a very conviction play from me was the limit order on the 88.6, because when we had this dump on the 10th of October, we didn't go down to the 88.6, and this was so so like in my head all the time. I was like, this could be a very potential wick fill trade. So a wick fill basically means that the wick is completely filled, even goes down, max pain scenario. Everybody of course thinks that this will not happen. The price will not go down there, and usually everything happens what people don't expect to happen. So it went down to the 88.6. That's why I had a limit order there. It actually went pretty well. And I was really positive about it, or I'm still very positive about it, because on the lower time frame, what we saw is a very nice pattern. So um, let me actually see here on the 15-minute time frame. Let me do one thing, and this is a bit disturbing me. on the 15-minute time frame, we had a very nice market structure shift to the upside. So we had a bottom here. We had a nice reaction to the upside. And what we did then is we basically retested this low here without creating a new low. That is very, very bullish. Yes, it is only on the 15-minute time frame, but it is definitely bullish, right? At least on this time frame. What we did then, we created a break of structure. So we basically followed the trend after we did a market structure shift or change of character here. And then we had a nice consolidation trend, which led to going into my zones where I was interested to take profits on the short term, because we had the Fibonacci extension from here, 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 as you can see, low, high, low. So this was basically a sequence where we could take profits in the area of 103,725 up to 104,860. So afterwards, we had obviously a very nice break. So we had the possibility, let me actually put the moving averages out for a second because they're a little bit disturbing here. Um, Within this range, when I put the fixed range volume profile, which basically shows me where we have potential support zones, we obviously had the point of control here, which we lost now, but we also do have the volume area low here, which is really important for me to win right now. So the market pushes right now very well, but how did I go into this trade? I basically used the Fibonacci retracement again here on the 15-minute time frame, and we came down here after we obviously had my break even here, right? My break even, I was like 101,300 or something I was in. I got stopped out break even. I was actually also on a plane, so I didn't want to risk to lose the trade for no reason. So, but what was still in my interest was this area here. This area here was very nice because obviously it is also the trend reversal zone on the 15-minute time frame. So again, something that we definitely need to win. And also, of course, we have to hold the lows. Otherwise, I would be more bearish. What we can see right now, we came into this area. I basically placed the limit here on the volume area low, which is usually a great support. It also uses as a great support. Plus, as a double confirmation, we do have on the RSI a bullish divergence. A bullish divergence basically means that the RSI, which is a momentum indicator, is already going to as moving to the middle, or is like moving up, but we have a price, as you can see here, that is going more down, created a new low. That is basically often, obviously, the higher time frame, the better. That's only the 50-minute time frame, but usually that is definitely a good sign of a potential reversal. As I said, let's say if we get this on a 4-hour time frame, obviously that is something better for me. Everything on the higher time frame gives us more clarity, but that's why I took this entry here. So when you see this video and we are still in these areas, I still consider this as a good buy, right? Exits, well, depends on your risk management, but I'm personally using normally liquidation levels, but if you want to have like a fixed stop loss, it is obviously the 98,498, which I don't want to have a close under, right? Which in my opinion should hold. Where could we take profits? Well, short-term profits, if we are just not speaking about the swing, we simply use the Fibonacci retracement to the other side. So right now we are actually already on profit levels. 101,804 was the first. Second level would be here, this resistance area at 102,441, and then obviously 103,869. In general, I do want to have the whole swing. So I definitely do trade it until the 104, 105,000 area. If you guys remember, there were interesting short liquidation clusters. So that would also align with these profit zones, maybe even a little bit higher. So yeah, that would be definitely a very, very, very good trade. Overall, if we take or if we speak about more like swing scenarios, I also see already that this video is going a little bit longer. But obviously, swing scenarios, if you want to hold this setup longer, let me actually put this one here away and see where the low is. There we go. So there, obviously, the 109,331 area is very interesting for more like long-term holds. There we go. It would be already 9.4%, so over 9,000 pips. Second TP on for a swing would be here at 115,757, and then the second one within the swing would be 123,000, and obviously then if you want to hold it longer, it is still the area of 146,000 that I'm gonna target. So yeah, this is basically my Bitcoin view. Actually, I want to say one more thing, which also gave me a kind of good feeling to take this trade before I finish this one. We also do have the weekly moving average, the 50 EMA, directly under us. You guys can see it here, the yellow area. And I wouldn't, this is another thing where I might turn a little bit bearish if we do get a weekly close. We still have 2 days and 9 hours. If we do get a weekly close under the 50 EMA, that would be not so good for me, because if we take a look on the past, we used it often as support, but also this one here is the BingX chart, so I don't have the area before, but I think it already underlines what I want to say. When we had the top in and we had the first weekly candle under the 50 EMA, that was basically a sign for the bear market coming. Obviously, we had the complacency zone where people basically saw a bull trap here. So I think it was like a 50% move to the upside. So you guys can see, yeah, 46%. So there people were like, maybe it's not the bear market, maybe we recover now. And then we went to the downside. So usually when we are going under, if we're trading under the 50 EMA, we are more in a bear market. If we are trading over, you guys can see breakout, retest, breakout, retest, breakout, retest, question mark. Okay. Very, very important. So I would be very, very careful if we do get a close under. I see people already calling 92,000, 85,000 and stuff like that. I don't see that yet, but I am open to change my mind if we do see something on the chart that could potentially give me a bearish feeling. But I have my position open. I am in this trade. I have bought some more coins. I've bought more like high conviction plays. If you're interested in what I'm doing there, what kind of swings I'm opening up, let me know. But I think this video is already quite long, so I'm going to upload that. Hopefully it doesn't take ages with this hotel Wi-Fi. But with that being said, it was a very intense and detailed Bitcoin update. Let me know in the comments if you like it. Give me a follow, like, share it with friends and family, and I would really appreciate all of the support. With that being said, thank you so much, guys, and talk to you very, very soon.